is going on, guys? Jesse 504 here, back again with LBT Season 2 Power Rankings, and this time I'm not alone. Joining me today we have Season 1 champion Sir Kill. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, how are you all doing? Yeah, I am super excited to be joined with to join Jesse in this. I've always wanted to do power rankings, and yeah, I hope I can do the job the best I can.
Yeah, and then just huge thanks to you and Fatty for just assembling these slides, making it really easy on me.
Yeah, no worries. I mean,
hmm
it was the least we could do to help you out.
Yeah, and then one last thanks to anyone who filled out the PR form, made it just easier to help determine spots. But without further ado, let's just get right into our number 12 team. And there's only one team that could be here pretty much unanimously. In last place, we have the German Glycopods, coached by Luke. Um,
What the fuck, Luke?
yeah, he made a
Was
couple.
what I was gonna say before the FAs.
Yeah, he made a couple of moves, dropping Zarude for Doug Trio and Wobbuffet for Lipard. But still, I don't really think they help out too much, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah,
I'm really
go.
confused by what Luke tried to go for with this team.
I'll tell you what he tried to go for. He tried to counter team me. He was so like, he said like Ditto gave him nightmares. He kept just seeing Ditto wherever he went. So he's like, I'll pull a 100 IQ move and I'll draft Ditto first round. So no one else can get the Ditto, which we overpriced quite a lot this
Yeah.
time. We made it like 180 points rather than 60. Thought maybe like higher points would deter people from drafting it. But now Luke was like, nope, I need to get back at Sir Kill for sweeping me, so I'll just try and reverse sweep him back with
hmm
the Ditto.
Yeah. And then round two Mega Bayonet as well.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a good one, but like,
hmm
I know you could have waited out for it personally.
Yeah. At least he grabbed an Uber this time, like a traditional Uber, not Galarian Darmanitan. He grabbed Groudon for some nice sun, but he doesn't really have any ways to abuse the sun.
Mm, yeah. I feel like he should have done. He should have grabbed a Venusaur. 100%. He should have grabbed Venusaur.
hmm
He could have grabbed a regular Darm. I think regular Darm in Sun is so strong. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculously powerful. But maybe Zenmore G Darm in Sun could be working out.
Yeah.
Uh, a Heliolisk would have been beautiful with the Sun as well because
hmm
solar power boosted moves are so strong.
Yeah. But outside of like the sort of actual like raw power of the Mons, I think Luke like drafted a competent team. Like he's got the rockers, he's got some spikers, he's got hazard removal, he's got solid speed tiers. It's just the power of his team is so much lower, I feel, than anyone else's.
Yeah, he is very physical based. His
Mhm.
only special mon is Volcanion.
Mhm.
So he kind of suffers in that department. I would love to see him grab maybe two more special Pokemon. I'm hinting at the Venusaur, you
Yeah.
know,
Venusaur I think would be
because
fantastic on this team, and then like Heliolisk, like you said, I think those two
yeah,
in the lower
maybe
points.
instead of the Volcanion, yeah, you could maybe even put Charizard. Why
Yeah.
not?
I think all of those moves can sort of help Luke out. Hopefully he can. I mean, like, if anyone can make this team work, it's gonna be Luke. But I just feel like he's starting out on the back foot every week. Just
Yeah, his last season's team, while did not have Ubers, it did synergize incredibly well. I mean, he had the spikers, he had the T spikers, he had the rain support for his Dracovish, he had the tailwind support, he had the webs.
hmm
So he had a very. I felt last season he had a very nice team. Even though it was ranked low last time, I mean, when you looked at the matchup, you could see all 11 of his mons being brought and all of them putting in work. So a
Hmm.
bit going in the backwards direction, but I don't know. If I think Luke can definitely make it work.
Yeah, he
He's
just
the
kind
type
of
of guy.
grabbed Mons I think he wanted to use, didn't really care too much about it.
Hmm.
Alrighty, but not really too much to say about this other than what the hell, Luke. But I guess moving on to number 11, we've got the Memphis Primates. This is Kyogre semi-rain, but it's not like full rain. It has just a little rain synergy with the Kyogre and the Mega Swampert round 1, round 2, and I thought he would like just fully dive into rain, but instead he chose to go with really no more Rainmon.
Yeah, I mean, I get he was trying to go with the rain theme with the Kyogre and the Melmetal 2 being supported by rain and then Mega Swampert. But then, I mean, Kyogre wants to run something like a Choice Scarf for specs rather than Damp Rung facilitating your sweeper like Mega Swampert.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel he could have had another Mega. I would have loved Mega Scizor, in all
Yeah.
honesty. I feel that could have been a much better pick.
Mm-hmm.
He could, and a few big problems here. He has only one rocker, which is his mega Pokemon. I mean, he'd rather be sweeping with that thing rather than setting up rocks. He has a T Spiker and a Web Setter, but I mean, it's a Doctor. I
Yeah.
mean, there are a lot better Web Setters that were there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and his team is just so slow. I mean, we saw how Jesse fully exploited how his how slow his team was, where he didn't even need to run any speed on his Zacian, and he just ran full on bulk and still 2-hit KO'd a lot of his team.
Yeah. I mean, he has plenty of scarf options. Kyogre, Lele, Darm are all great scarfers. Swampert in rain can boost its speed, and then Zekrom is a solid Dragon Dancer, but it just needs something to get going. You're either going to be sacrificing some power if you choose to go a Choice Scarf, or you're going to be like, you need a couple turns in Zekrom's case to really get going. So that just kind of
Hmm.
gives your opponent too much time and a lot of flexibility being able to like run bulk EVs.
Yeah. I think one change I could see, I would recommend is maybe slotting in Hawlucha, because I don't think Hawlucha got drafted, and it can pair extremely well with Tapu Lele. It can
Hmm.
give him that immediate speed and that long term endgame speed that Hawlucha provides. A more reliable speed option rather than setting webs and then relying on your opponent not defogging away those webs. So that's one suggestion I think he could make.
Hmm.
What do you think he could change on his team?
Um, I mean, I feel like that sort of bottom row of Pokemon, other than potentially like Dottler if he wants webs, I feel like there's just better options for him. Like Whiscash is never coming to a game when you have a Mega Swampert. Sawk has like sturdy counter, I guess, but it doesn't really do too much. Dottler, there are better web setters available, and then Cofagrigus, alright, it's some sort of physical wall, but it's still when compared to like the other things and when we're dealing with a much higher power level, it kind of just crumbles without reliable recovery.
Yeah, I mean, rather than Whiscash, I could go Ludicolo if you
Hmm.
do want to commit to some rain. Because at least Ludicolo is a very dangerous sweeper. Even, let's say, you want to sacrifice a bit of Kyogre's power, you can have
Hmm.
Ludicolo come in, or you can have Ludicolo set up its own rain and sweep from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hmm. But other than that, I mean, like, there's plenty of just threatening mons. They kind of just don't really mesh that well together.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see if he can prove us wrong this season. But let's head
Oh,
on to number 10, and we see the Boston Celebies. This team, I feel like it's a step above the previous two. Um, has some incredibly powerful mons like Marshadow, Ash Greninja, Mega Mawile is really strong. Volcarona when it gets going. I feel like those are all some top threats. And Corviknight's just an incredibly tough to break mon. But
Yeah,
mhm,
I, because I drafted Marshadow last season, so yeah. Well, Marshadow struggles to break two types in particular, mainly bulky fairies. It does get poison jab, but it does struggle with them,
mhm,
and bulky waters. Those two, I feel it struggles to break. I think Corviknight alone is such a great breaker that I feel he did not need the Mega Mawile that much. It's a great
mhm,
Mega, don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic Mega, but I feel Corviknight is just doing the job a lot more and a
mhm.
lot more reliably, I would say. Because
Yeah,
at least Corviknight forms that backbone for the team, you know?
yeah. And then just I don't really see the need for a Barraskewda pick here either. I don't think it's gonna really be doing anything that Ash Greninja can't do, other than like maybe have like
Yeah.
some slightly more immediate speed, because obviously Ashgra
Hmm.
needs that KO to get going. And
Yeah.
also, I feel like when you have a Corviknight, you want to like really draft amazing fire counters and amazing electric counters, because once you do
Hello?
that, it's not gonna die. But I feel like this team is
Hello?
still slightly too fire weak, and
Oh
then
shit,
the
I got cut.
electric immunities aren't coming to every game. Donphan is solid, but Manectric I don't think can come to a game. But he also lacks some immediate special offense. Like Ashgren obviously needs that KO to get going. Volcarona likes to set up a couple quiver dances before it can really do its thing. And Roserade is not that uh, strong, so it'll be interesting to see how he can operate with that. And then obviously Espeon isn't the strongest, but his physical options are solid.
Sorry, I got
Hmm.
cut there. Can you just give me a small TLDR what you talked about?
Yeah, I was just saying how his special mons aren't really that great, and his physical mons are there, but he would like some more immediate special offense for the team.
Yep, 100%.
Hmm.
I I feel if he can try, I know Mega Gardevoir got drafted, but if he can somewhat convince the person who has the Mega Gardevoir to trade it over, I
Hmm.
feel Mega Guard would be incredible with this team.
Yeah.
And just FOing the Barraskewda for another potential different mon,
Hmm.
another special mon, I
Yeah.
feel.
I feel like
Yeah.
Mega Mawile, it looks real nice to a lot of people. So just like that thing, being able to have that in trades as well as Barraskewda, maybe even dropping the two of them to pick up another Uber and then like a low tier mon could work well for this team.
100%. I agree there completely.
Yeah, but he has some nice rockers, nice spikers, and T spikes as well. And his hazard clearing is pretty solid. Obviously, Donphan is a real nice spinner, and then his defoggers, Corviknight's a really consistent one, and then Volcarona can do it if it doesn't need a coverage option on a Quiver Dance set.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
often,
I was just looking at the draft, and I would say get a Xerneas. I
hmm,
feel that could be an incredibly powerful Pokemon that does provide that immediate offense,
yeah,
both physically and specially, because it
hmm,
does get player off now, and it has a very good physical move pool.
hmm,
So that's another option. But yeah,
yeah. Um, but other than that, nice speed tiers all around. I would love to sort of maybe see something like around base 80, but other than that, really functional. And then maybe something, I guess, for like super Trick Room teams, but Mega Mawile can like run min speed and still do fine in Trick Room.
yeah, that's pretty much okay.
Hmm. But I can see this team going far, especially if it makes that transaction for Xerneas.
Yeah, 100%.
Alrighty, but let's head on to our number 9 ranked team, and the Ancient Absols. There's a lot to like about this team. Obviously, picked Yveltal round one, which was a snipe. I'm sure it was on pretty much everyone's board. And then just nice pairing with it. The Magirna, Victini is a solid mon, and really Thunderous for its Volt Absorb, I think pairs really well with Yveltal.
Yeah.
And then Mag and
The,
Victini obviously do well against fairies for it, so there isn't really too much more to worry about other than like rock type, which Mag can deal with pretty well, but those three are all weak to it. But the
yeah.
team is a little bit rock weak, and that's really something that I'm seeing on this team is that uh, probably a couple Mons are going to be forced into running boots. Yveltal probably wants them a lot. Victini enjoys them. Thunderous likes them. So it'll be interesting, especially if she wants to run Yveltal and Thunderous as defoggers.
Yeah, agree. But she does have a very good rapid spinner in Serena that can facilitate that support,
Hmm.
and it can threaten the rock types as well. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, she's rock's weak, but she has the offense that
Hmm.
threatens rock types. She has a Como, she has Magirna, she has Serena, she has Melodic. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think she has the tools to deal with the rock types. That's
Hmm.
that's fine.
She also picked up Mamoswine, which would probably have been like the biggest threat to her team. So that was a really smart pickup.
Yeah, she hates losing to Mammoth Swine, so she's like, I'll just pick it up so that I don't have to deal with it in
Hmm.
draft, and
Yeah.
which is one of the smartest strategies you can do, in my opinion.
Yeah. I guess one thing that I kind of don't really like about this draft is its speed tiers. I feel like they didn't really draft four good speed tiers because like you got 115, 112, 101, 199, and then like 85, 81, 80, and then like it kind of just drops off and there isn't really any spread out speed tiers.
Yeah, it was difficult procuring quite the
Hmm.
faster mons at the end of the draft, but
Yeah,
yeah,
because obviously some
and,
earlier
and
picks spent on like Yveltal, Victini, Thunderous, Magirna. Obviously, Yveltal, Victini, and Thunderous, you like to have them. They just are like 101, 199.
yeah, hmm
But outside of that, I think the team is really solid. And while Scolipede, I know last season it had its success because we allowed speed passing. This season it's not allowed, but I still think it can do well as like a hazard lead. And if you really want to have some fun, Sword Stance you can still pass if you don't run speed boost.
yeah. It can run Endeavor sets as well.
Hmm.
It can run. It can also break very well. It's extremely difficult to revenge kill
Hmm.
if it does get going. So yeah.
Yeah. Any moves that you would think to help out this team?
Uh, I don't know. Is there because I did help her draft this team.
Hmm.
So maybe Zera Aura for Thunderous could be an option,
Yeah.
but it may interfere with her points somewhat.
Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that is one option that could be taken. I'm not sure if did it get drafted.
Um,
I'm genuinely not sure.
I feel like Zero is a mon that most of the time goes, but I'm not sure if it went this time.
Let me just have a quick look. I don't think it did get drafted. I
Hmm.
know Coco got drafted.
Yeah.
I feel Zeraora could fix that. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like Zero over here. It gives a ton of immediate speed. And it's not Rock's weak like Thunderous, but it still has that electric immunity for the team.
Oh, okay, it didn't go drafted. Okay, so I think Zeraora could really work. It won't give that rocks weakness, and yeah, she has the
Hmm.
Pokemon that do resist ground,
Hmm.
like the Eviltal and the Serena,
Yeah.
and she does threaten ground types very well with the Mammo. So
Yeah. And Milotic
yeah,
is also a fine ground counter most weeks.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Really, outside of that, I feel like that could help the team out, but there isn't really too much that can be done.
yeah. I
Alrighty.
feel like it's a very synergistic team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, Going on to number 8, we see the Fall Arbor Flames, coached by Monster. This is a team that I really enjoy. Didn't get like any super duper top tier Ubers, but instead has just 11 Mons that can come every week.
Yeah, I love this team. It's
Mm-hmm.
so good. I mean, when you have Protean Greninja and Libero Cinderace, you are constantly thinking what coverage will he be running?
Mm-hmm.
Because he can run so much different coverage on those two Pokemon alone. Gungshot is like one of the. I feel like it's one of the best moves these two get. Because fairies would be usually walling the Greninja, but then Greninja comes back at you and kills your fairy with Gungshot.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Metagross is a great Mega. I know he has had success with the Landorus Eye, the Sheer Force one, in
Mm-hmm.
another league. So him being comfortable with a Pokemon like that is really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know about Sticky Web support. Do you think he needed it? I don't think he
I don't
did.
think he needed
Personally,
it, but like a Scarfer would be threatening, and I guess Webs kind of help slow that down. But I think he has plenty of speed already with the Pult and then Greninja, Cinderace working out really
yeah,
well.
yeah, one, yep, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I like the Tangrowth and Blissey, just annoying to break down a core
Mm-hmm.
like that. Though a mixed sweeper can prove problematic, like an Infernape.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's running Fire Blast plus close combat, that could be a bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
He has the Unburdened strats with the Galarian Weezing with Misty Surge and Hitmonlee, so that's a
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
And he has that Sableye just to be annoying, just cripple any Pokemon that are posing a threat to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing about like the Hitmonlee Weezing is that with Weezing it has two great abilities already in the gas and then levitate. So really taking that away from it can potentially hold it back. But I mean, it's still it can't get toxic, but it can enjoy like not being status otherwise.
Hmm. Yeah, it can help like the Dragapult not get T waved or something, you know?
Mhm.
Because one of the best ways to like stop a Dragapult is to like T wave it somehow and then revenge kill it. So I
Mhm.
could see it being working in that manner.
Yeah. One thing that I would have loved to see on this team is like a Defiant Pokemon when he has these webs. He has nice rocks, and then Greninja providing both types of spikes, and Weezing providing toxic spikes as well. Like,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
know like Passimian got drafted, but I would have loved to see like a Defiant user on the team. I feel like Monster could make use of that really well.
Yeah, I think Defiant is going to be fantastic on this team.
Yeah, I might be open to trading Passimian. So, I mean, I would love to see like a Defiant Mon on this team. I feel like it works really well, and Greninja is very, very versatile. So you have to like prep for. I feel like with a Defiant Mon, you have to even prep for like the spikes even more. And you have to prep for the just pure offensive sets as well. And then there's so much. I guess Cinderace can't really run court change on this team when his hazards are so good, but that's about like the only drawback to this team.
Yeah, because I mean, Greninja just forces so many switches, so it's a brilliant T
Hmm.
spiker,
Yeah.
and getting the Protean from those as well. I mean, imagine your opponent's going for an electric move and you just spike, and then you're not affected by that electric
Hmm.
move. So
Yeah.
yeah, tons of possibilities with Protean Gren in that regard.
Yeah. But I'm really excited to see what Monster can do with this team. I think more offensive teams suit him better. I feel like this is a team that I would draft. Um, just like very HO up top, and then has like Blissey Tangrowth as like a backbone to the team.
Yeah, yeah, this looks like a very fun team to use.
Yeah.
I would have put like a Grimmsnarl with this team, like just put a
Hmm.
Grimmsnarl there or like a Klefki or something. Just be annoying with like
Hmm.
prankster screens and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a very good effort. Extremely nice team.
I really like it. But let's move to number 7, where we see the Atlanta Gliscors, coached by Not Shady Kid. I really like this team. He has Primal Groudon, which obviously is an incredible threat. And then he has some top tier offense with Naganadel, Darkrai, Kartana, and then like a nice defensive backbone with Finny and Cress. And then also web support from Vikavolt seems to be really nice for this team, especially when we restricted Primal Groudon from running Rock Polish, thankfully. Cursula is nice. It's really slow. I know Sir Kill likes it. Slow Mon, but it can like sort of dissuade Trick Room when his team is otherwise fairly quick. And it's just a nice rocker. Linoon hits hard if it can get its belly drum off, but it's pretty frail. So having that is, I guess, like one downside, but it can just click E speed, and it has a throat chop as well to hit the ghosts. Indeedee, or not Indeedee, Illumise, just a little prankster annoyance. And then Girder is surprisingly bulky physically. I really like this team in general. Two physical breakers, two special breakers, and two real walls is the support of this team, and then he can just sub in Mons when some of them don't have quite as good of a matchup. Obviously, Primal Groudon's really only weak to ground because of Desolate Land, and having two Levitators and Finny also can take on ground types really well, and then Illumise. He has two rockers in the form of Cursula and Primal Groudon. Those work out well. Spikes and T-Spikes from the Naganadel now, and then webs from Vikavolt. He has all the hazard options. Again, I would have loved to potentially see a Defiant Mon with those, but I don't think Naganadel is going to be running too many types of spikes any week, so I don't really think it matters. But webs were a real nice pickup for this team.
Yeah, especially since the Primal Groudon
Mm-hmm.
isn't allowed to use rock polish,
Mm-hmm.
so it does alleviate part of that weakness where it's slow and wants to run more offensive sets.
Yeah.
So I love the Vikavolt pick. I think it synergizes incredibly well with the Primal Groudon.
Yeah, also the levitate for it.
Yeah, but this is a very strong team.
I guess maybe it would want one spinner because it has those nice hazard options with the rockers and then webs and spikes less consistently. But other than that, fine. 4 defoggers is nice for the team, although Cortana I don't really think counts, but 3 good defoggers.
Yeah, it's a really nice team. Yeah, he has all the support for it. He has like Tailwind, Illumise, like Prankster Tailwind for his like Kartana and all this stuff. He has Cursula, which is a very it's a huge nuke because
Mm-hmm.
145 base special attack, and it gets a lot of fun moves. It gets Ice Beam. It gets Power Gem. It got Meteor Beam now. It gets Burning Jealousy. It has insane coverage, and it can run like trapping sets. Like, let's say if your opponent has a very special team and you're like, oh, I like to trap this special Pokemon, it does that trapping set so well, and then
Mm-hmm.
it can strength sap the opponent's attack away. So very good Pokemon. And then the Girder is such a nice. I like how the Cursula is paired with the Girder because they do support each other's weaknesses very well.
Mm-hmm.
Girder can Girder can take care of the dark types, and Cursula can take care of these psychic types that the Girder hates.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Linoon might be a bit out there, but it does force prep, so
Mm-hmm.
I do understand why he did draft it and he did use it very effectively last season. But
Yeah.
yeah, very good team,
Mm-hmm.
really nice team.
I think this team can go far, just barely missing out on top 6.
Yeah, yep.
But let's get into that top 6, starting with the St. John's Jolteons. The main Uber on the team is Eternatus. Eternatus obviously found a lot of success last season, um, and it's really just unpredictable. It has its dual stabs plus flamethrower can really hit everything in the game. And then this season it was paired with Urshifu, which is a great threat to really just everything. It obviously last season was paired with Marshadow. I feel like it can have a similar effect this season with Urshifu. Maybe even better because Urshifu can better take on psychic types.
Yep.
hmm And then obviously
Uh,
Gothitelle, massive annoyance, forces a lot of prep even if it doesn't come.
yeah, it's I like Eternatus is just so fat.
hmm
It breaks the bulky fairies Urshifu hits taking on
Yeah.
very well. I really love the synergy last season because I had it. I
hmm
really love the synergy it gave Marshadow, even though it didn't get many kills, but just seeing that in prep and being super scared of the possibilities of what it can do, and it has a very unique strat spread. It's super fast,
hmm
weighs 130 speed, but it's so fat. It has like 140 HP with 95 defenses, and it gets
hmm
cosmic power on top of that, which is even more annoying to take care of.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and then he also has just a bunch more threats. Excadrill, obviously, no sand, but it can still put in work. Just like Mold Breaker is a fantastic ability, and it can set up rocks. It can spin away rocks and other hazards, and a great hazard lead, but also can clean late game. Although obviously it doesn't have sand, so it can't do that as well, but it can still do it.
hmm
Um, Mega Gardevoir, it is a real threat. It has pretty perfect coverage. Obviously, Psychic plus Fairy plus Mystical Fire really just does well because Mystical Fire now it lost Hidden Power, but it can use Mystical Fire to help on the steals. Ferrothorn, great for hazard stacking. I think that it helps out the team a lot. Just being able to set up rocks and spikes, leech seeds all seem really nice for Ferrothorn, and doubling up on steals is fine because you have a Chandelure, which is immune to fire with Flash Fire, and then immune to fighting because it's a ghost type. I think that was a great synergy pickup, in my opinion. And then Rotom, obviously very consistent Mon, just does a lot. Great defensive pickup, but it can also run like offensive sets, so really just an unpredictable Mon in prep. Quagsire is one bulky, surprisingly Mon. Especially with Unaware, I feel like that's going to help out a lot. Water Absorb also has its uses, so Quag really just does a lot. And then Scyther is a great pickup for like very cheap amounts. It can do obviously a lot more now that it has dual wing beat plus technician. That's basically giving it a brave bird. Um, it's fast, but I don't think it's like quite fast enough. It doesn't do it doesn't bridge between Eternatus and itself. I think this team would benefit a lot from like a 115 speed mon, something like an
hmm
Ambipom, although I know that was drafted, but yeah, and then I just don't see Zatu really doing much. It team has its typings already. Its real only niche is Magic Bounce, but I don't think the team needs it when it has Excadrill to help out. Rotom is a great defogger, and it has a couple more options as well.
Yeah. I mean, his team is just so ghost and dark weak.
hmm
Yeah, he has the Urshifu, but I don't know how many hits the Urshifu wants to be taking in, switching in and out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I that's one thing I did not like about his team. Like something like Specs Aegislash can completely go in. For
Yeah.
example, one suggestion I would make is maybe removing the Mega Guard and getting Mega Diancie. I
Yeah.
think that would be very good,
Mhm.
right? Because it has a 110 speed tier.
Mhm.
Like Jesse said, it will. I think that will help bridge that gap a little bit better. It has a magic bounce, so you can remove the Zatu. You can get another Pokemon
Mhm.
instead of Zatu. Maybe a more another physical Pokemon. I think,
Yeah.
or
It
yeah,
can really
I think
work
another
really
sort of
anything that just isn't
yeah.
like a solid dark type. I think in the low tiers could just help out the team a lot.
He has his Urshifu, so
Yeah,
he
but
has
like
a
a
dark
more
type.
defensive dark, I think.
Yeah, or a ghost, or not a ghost
Hmm.
type. What am I saying? Normal type. There we go. Or,
Yeah.
I think a normal type would really help.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
But other than that, I think just solid team.
100. Yeah, it's a great team. Just
Hmm.
a few tweaks, and it can be super difficult to prep against.
Yeah. Alrighty, but let's head into our top five, and at number five we see the Geneva Genesects. I really like this team. This is one that I would use.
This is so. This I put this team as number one in my PRs
Hmm.
personally. It's so good, so good.
Yeah. Obviously, Primal Kyogre plus Genesect, I think already just starting that off is a great synergy pick. Those two work really well together. Obviously, Genesect only being weak to fire, and then Primal Kyogre obviously being immune. Coco is a fantastic Pokemon. It really just does a lot. Uh, Physically, specially, can do it all. It is pretty versatile as well. Can run like support with screens, defog, has roost, U-turn or volt switch. If you're running like special and they don't have a great ground, you can volt switch. Otherwise, you can always just U-turn. And then Lando T is a real nice pivot for this team. Obviously, being able to, it's the only rocker, which is kind of a problem for the team, I guess. But it doesn't have to fit defog on its set when he has so many other defoggers. Um, Latios, I feel like this generation has just gotten in the DLC moves. It can now pretty much do everything offensively. There's no real good checks to Latios anymore. Other than like a real nice special wall, but then it can just like pull out a Dragon Dance. So, and even then,
Yeah,
it can also just run support. I really like Latios.
yeah. It got so many cool moves. It got Mystical Fire and Aura Sphere.
Hmm.
Really nice coverage.
Yeah. Uh, Arcanine is another fire immunity for Genesect. I like teleport on this team into Primal Kyogre, into Genesect, into Tapu Koko, into Latios. There's just so much that it can really do. I'm a fan of the Arcanine pickup. I had it on a couple of my plans as well. So I'm excited to see what he can do with that thing. Uh, Rotom Fan is possibly like, yeah, it's a real nice budget pick, but he has sort of everything it does, so that would be something that I would look at dropping. But
Yeah, maybe get a
mhm,
rocker in that
yeah,
slot.
uh, Scrafty is a mon, like if it gets going with like Dragon Dances and Moxie, it can potentially sweep a team. Also, really surprisingly bulky on both sides with Intimidate. He sort of has like three Intimidate mons to form like a nice Intimidate core with the Landorus, Arcanine, and Scrafty. I feel like that is a pain for a lot of physical attackers.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm. He has Dusclops, which is a real nice low tier wall. Sort of is it's very passive, but it's sort of a hard stop to a lot of mons. Can't really be set up on because it has access to haze. It can will-o-wisp things. It can toxic. Its only recovery is pain split. I guess is the main issue that a lot of people have with it. It's either running pain split or rest, but I think it just performs the job of low tier wall really well. Chimecho
Yep.
really doesn't do anything. It can defog, I guess, but that thing you can drop. I don't know. I think he just picks it because he like likes it or something.
And I think it was that mandatory 1 point pick.
Yeah.
I I saw like a Bastion on there. Maybe get that. I don't
Yeah.
know because you have a ton of levitate Pokemon to
hmm
like abuse something like that. So possibly,
Yeah, and then he also free agency for Superior, which I think was a great move for him. Obviously, he had Sylveon
yeah,
before, which it's a solid mon, but I think Superior, he already had a fairy in Coco. He has now a grass. Obviously, Superior, once it gets going, is really tough to stop. And while it doesn't have
yep,
coverage, it has Leaf Storm and Dragon Pulse. It can really, it can also run like some bulky sets with like Sub, Glare, Leech Seed, has knockoff. I think it can run just a lot more than just Leaf Storm Snowbally sets.
yeah. Uh, I think Chimecho can pass wishes. I think he lost to Sylveon, so he has one wish passer now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah.
hmm
Superiors, I feel was a great trade. It's a lot more threatening, and he was doubling up on the fairy typing, so just
hmm
getting a grass type that his team would really appreciate, like just
Yeah.
breaking down the bulky waters. I know he has Coco and Rotom, but
hmm
like breaking down something like water and ground would be very very nice. The Superior does.
hmm
I could One suggestion I would give to him is maybe drop the Rotom fan for like a Licky Licky, I think, or
Yeah.
like a Miltank, one of those Pokemon, because Licky Licky will give him the Wish and Miltank will give him Rocks. I think those two picks are going to be incredible.
Yeah, I feel like Rotom Fan was really underpriced though, so I don't even know if he can afford one of those. But just like some sort of low tier Wish Passer or Rocker, I feel like both help out the team.
Yeah,
Sort of takes a little pressure off of Landorus to be a rocker.
yeah. How much was the Rotom fan
I
actually?
feel like it was 5.
It was just see. It was 5 points. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
hmm
Right. So I think the Miltank was 7 points,
Yeah.
but one of those, or maybe a Kangaskhan.
Yeah,
I know Kangaskhan
Kangaskhan.
is quite cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap and it provides a lot of support. I could see him with a Kangaskhan on this team because he doesn't have a normal type, right?
Kangaskhan. No, he does not have a
I
normal
feel
type,
like
and I think he'll
Kangaskhan
really
or
appreciate it.
Audino could be another nice pickup.
Oh, Kangaskhan is 5 points. I think he can go for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it seems just like a
because
pain to
Rotom
break
fan is
through.
6.
hmm
Yeah, because Rotom's fan is 6,
Yeah.
and Kangaskhan is 5. So
hmm
I love the Kangaskhan option. Go for that.
Yeah, and it takes ghost moves, which obviously I know someone in another league that I was in paired Dusclops with Audino with some success. I feel like Kangaskhan can do that even a little better.
Yeah, it's like it's very similar to Licky Licky, very similar stat spread. It just doesn't have the special attack
hmm
or the Oblivious slash Cloud9, but
hmm
he can make use of Scrappy, I guess, and Inner Focus is very nice
hmm
this generation because Intimidators don't have an effect on it.
Scrappy also.
So, oh yeah, Scrappy can be very cool. I've even seen curse sets being brought that have done
hmm
so well
Yeah,
in the
obviously it
past.
has a real nice move pool, can sort of do a lot.
Hmm.
Okay, but let's head into our number 14, and we see your team, the Dubai Dragon Riders. So first pick, you went ahead and grabbed Necrozma Duskmane. This is a mon that I think I made a plan around, but obviously it went at number 1. So I feel I hope you can use it well. You want to like break down your team?
Yeah, sure. So I got first overall pick. Don't worry, the picks were made. The draft order was made before the finals.
hmm
There's nothing of that sort. But no, I did see the whole draft, and I said, okay, I really like the because we added the super Ubers later. Like before, I was set on the Crossbar Duskmane, but then we added other super Ubers like Zacian Crown and Primal Groudon. And when I looked at them, I felt they were too one dimensional. Now, granted, they're great mons
hmm
and they can do a lot of stuff. I mean, as you'll see later down the season, they'll be doing a bunch of things, but I think the main thing that kind of was deterring me from those picks was like one, they were expensive at 40 points. Although I'm a hypocrite for my next pick on that part, but I'll get to that. But one, they were expensive. They were 40 points, and two, I really value the fact that Necrozma Duskmane can hold items and has very similar stats. It has total 720 base stat total, and Prism Armor is just an incredible ability. We've seen how we can see how normal Necrozma abuses it really well, just taking on super effective hits. I mean, this thing just takes it like a few steps further. Incredible Pokemon, very good move pool. Can set up in a million ways. It has Dragon Dance, Trick Room, Cosmic Power. It can be support. It does a lot of great things. I'm very happy I went with the Necrozma Duskmane.
Hmm.
Uh, then somehow I have no idea because initially I felt Jesse was going for like Arceus Ground because I felt Arceus Ground had a very good matchup in the draft because it beat my Necrozma Duskmane, it beat the Primal Groudon as well, had the physical and special versatility, but Arceus made it back to me, and I wanted a like a more fun Pokemon. Like I had Clefable, like something like a Clefable in mind that could be a more like a more reliable Pokemon, like more low tier Pokemon. But I wanted to use something more fun, and Arceus Fairy was providing. Now, granted, it's more expensive. It did provide very similar things. It provides Stealth Rocks, provides Defog, recovery, a lot of great moves. I just and the speed tier. I think the 120 base speed tier was something I really valued. So yeah, that was one of the one of my favorite picks in the season that I made. I got 5 kills with it in my first match, so it's without any investment. So I'm already very impressed by it. And lastly, I got Hydreigon. I wanted Evoltol at first, but obviously that was never gonna make it back to me. So I'm like, okay, what is something similar to Evoltol, but it can do very similar things, but it's cheaper. And I saw like Hydreigon there, and I feel it just perfectly synergizes with the Duskmane. It takes on all of it Duskmane's weaknesses, and Duskmane takes on all of Hydreigon's weaknesses.
Yeah, and Hydreigon was
So
also, I feel, like 1 or 2 points too cheap.
yeah, I feel that was a steal. I think it was like 14 points.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so I wanted next something I wanted to pair with my Necrozma Duskmane was like Justified User because I saw in another league Mega Metagross being paired with Terrakion. So in prep, it deterred something like Evil Troll from like spamming knockoffs or Dark Pulses, and I really like the idea of Terrakion on my team. I've seen it being used. I've seen it being incredible, and I really wanted to try it out. So Terrakion is I feel it pairs very well with the team. I have
Hmm.
yeah, there's a ground weakness going on there, but I'm somewhat patching it with my Hydreigon. Slowking has a very small, like it's a very slow Pokemon. It has teleport, which is going to be very crucial for my next 2 picks. It has Trick Room. It can set up. It gets Body Press. Very nice versatile mon. And I got Mega Camera. I wanted a very cheap Mega because the like the top of my draft was very heavy, so I wanted a Pokemon that could just be as annoying in prep. And I saw Mega Camera for 6 points, and I had to take it. I mean, I feel the matchups it could be very like incredible. Next up, I was suggested Trevenant. It was 3 points, and I feel the value for that pick was really nice. What do you think about that so far?
Yeah, you obviously a very top-heavy draft, but your low-tier fire, water, grass, trick room core, I think can. It's just another annoyance to prep for. You have so many things to prep for already. Necrozma, Arceus, Hydreigon, Terrakion, and now Trick Room with that as well. There's just so much that
Yeah.
can be done, especially because like you can get Necrozma even to start underspeeding stuff with no speed in Trick Room.
Yep. Yeah, so, that was the thing. The next one was what's this called? What's it called?
Thunderous.
Thunderous. There we go. Yeah, Thunderous. So I always like drafting spikes and T spikes in my drafts. I feel they're extremely valuable. I won a lot of crucial games last season due to spike support, and I love the fact that Thunderous gets defined. I know Jesse was adamantly pushing for teams to have defined Pokemon with
Hmm.
hazards. So there you go. I feel that part.
Hmm.
And yeah, Quillfish is there. It's a very annoying Pokemon. Whereas
Hmm.
Hazards, Debond, Thunder Wave, etc. And then I was like, okay, so far I'm kind of a bit like I have everything I want. So I was going for more extra options, and I really liked Alolan Ninetales. Just giving
Hmm.
that Veil support, I feel adds another layer of prep to the team.
Yeah.
It breaks down the bulky grounds that Necrozma Duskmane hates very
Hmm.
nicely. And yeah, Lickitung was is there because I did make somewhat of a points error in the draft. I thought I could get Licky Licky and Vanillix in my draft, but I couldn't do that because I thought Licky Licky was 6 points rather than 8 points. So
Hmm.
I just didn't want to drop anything else. So I was like, I'll just adjust for this. So yeah, that's where the Licky Tongue is for.
Hmm. Yeah. Just an incredibly well-rounded, versatile team. I know. I think this is a team. I think it's definitely going to have like a high skill cap sort of learning curve, but I feel like you're going to be one to use it well.
Yeah, I'm very excited to use this team.
Hmm.
I really am. I'm seeing a lot of further matchups, and I'm seeing my lower tiers putting a lot of work in those matchups.
Yeah. Like that's what I like about points drafts is we can see a draft like this, but we can also see a draft like monsters, and it just works for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you see a Conkeldurr in tier one, for example, right? In a normal Netdex
Hmm.
draft, like yeah, it's a great mon, but you feel it's not like tier one, and obviously it's too powerful for a tier two.
Hmm.
So I think points draft do a lot of justice and just allows for a lot more creativity, in my opinion.
Yeah. But let's head into number three, and we see
Yep.
the Tottenham Hot Scissors. This is another really fun-looking team. Mega Mewtwo Y, which we allowed Nasty Plot. Whoops.
Oops.
And then pairing that with just a ton of heavy hitters. Dialga is a great versatile mon. Uh, Pheromosa is possibly something that even like lets it that even goes above Mewtwo speed. This team is going to be forcing a ton of Scarfers every week. Weavile is another nice pick to sort of start branching down the speed tiers from Pheromosa, Mega Mewtwo, and then Weavile. A really fast offensive trio right there. There's not really a whole lot that can switch into all of them. But I really like it just with Mega Mewtwo. Obviously, Mega Mewtwo can deal with the fighting types that normally annoy Weavile.
Yeah, I love the Mega Mewtwo pick. It's I feel it's gonna be kill leader this season.
Hmm.
Truthfully,
Yeah.
it's and the fact that we let him get away with pairing it with Indeedee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be something sort of. I feel like just it's gonna be like spamming expanding forces. You need a dark type, otherwise you're kind of dead to that.
yeah. Among Us is. I feel Among Us is Firewater Grass Core is really good.
Hmm.
Extremely reliable Firewater Grass Core in my opinion.
Yeah. Rotom, which I knew a lot of people wanted, including myself. Seismitoad, great mon, especially with Rotom Heat. I really like that pick. Obviously, it's also one thing that completely walls Rotom Heat, so he doesn't have to deal with that in regular season. And then
Yep.
pairing that with a Moongus just gives the team some longevity. Obviously, that thing with Regenerator can sort of just act as a check to many sort of physical mons.
Yeah, and he drafts double spore. That's the annoying part.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, we have Sleep Claws. Otherwise,
Oh
Like
man.
this team forces even like safety goggles as an item, and when you're
Yeah.
forced safety goggles, it's kind of a problem.
Yes, I know safety goggles were brought in the week one match
Hmm.
against this team.
Yeah, and then some solid low tiers to round it out. Obviously, Smeargle just has everything. Uh, Diancie, I really like it. It's a nice, really bulky mon, and really, I feel like he has plenty of counters for its steel weakness to sort of let it succeed all season. And just like as
Mm.
a bulky mon. And then Togetic is another surprisingly bulky mon with the Eviolite. It can pass wishes. It can just sort of do a lot.
Yeah, he won two fairies. He drafted. I love the Togetic pick. It's a very nice low tier pick and very bulky. He wanted the Diancie because he was kind of afraid of knockoff spam, which
Mhm.
the Mega Mewtwo Y invites.
Mhm.
So he wanted a Pokemon that can just punish those knockoffs, and I think Diancie does the job relatively well.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, just a really good team. A few things I want to say about Dialga, though. I was just looking at what it gets. It gets bulk up, it gets iron defense, it gets body press now.
Oh God.
So I'm scared. I'm really scared. And
Yeah.
it can run Scarf, it can run Specs, it can
Mhm.
run Rock Support.
Mhm.
Incredible. Very good pick.
Yeah. Obviously, like the sort of numbers on the side are all inflated by Smeargle, but he still has options. Like he has three rockers, a spinner, a couple of defoggers, wish support, and a ton of clerics to help out the team.
Yeah, really good job with the team.
Yeah, very well rounded. A top contender for sure, especially with Liam's skill.
Well, yeah, yep, yep.
But let's move on to number two, and we got myself. So I did not expect Zacian to fall to me, but I guess it's very one-dimensional. But its one dimension is two-hit KOing everything. So
Yeah.
it really just works incredibly well. And then I wanted to get Ho-Oh back, but unfortunately that went one pick before me. But I was blessed with Mewtwo falling to me. So, like, just Mewtwo, I think, is possibly like the best way to start bridging down from Zacian's speed tier. Obviously, I have 148. Having this Mewtwo, sort of physical special combo, incredibly tough to switch into. The one thing that's kind of a downside is a lot of Mons are probably going to be running Fizz-Def for Zacian, so I don't really have a use for Mewtwo's Psy Strike because it obviously hits physical defense, but Psychic is still a very solid move.
Plus, you can do some sort of terrain
Hmm.
shenanigans with expanding force,
Yeah, if they
maybe.
have. I don't think I didn't pick up like a Psychic Terrain like setter, but uh, if they had Psychic Terrain like in my week one matchup, I'm gonna bring Expanding Force. It's just such a solid move, and the opportunity cost of running Expanding Force compared to Psychic just it's only 10 base power weaker. So,
Yeah.
hmm and then
Yep.
I got Tornty. Torrenti is just a fantastic pivot on this team. Like it can like Regenerator is such a good ability. Like Torrenti caught a Stone Edge turn one, and it just U-turns out, and then I can just keep bringing it in, U-turning out, and it's just slowly healing itself over time. It just does that really well. And then I got Garchomp. Originally, I wanted it to be Como, but Garchomp again is just a great mon. These sort of speed tiers that were forming in my head, I saw 148, 130, 121, 102. I feel like they were just really working out very well. And then
Yeah.
just picking up a nice budget Fire Water Grass core with Incineroar, Vaporeon, and Rotom-Mow, I think works out really well for the team. Just sort of can do a lot, and they're all great pivot options.
Mhm. I really love that budget firewater grass core.
Hmm.
It goes along super well, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I think you not getting Como was better in the long run.
Hmm.
I'll be truthfully honest, because
Yeah.
I feel Garchomp's utility at 102 was really, really, really nice.
Yeah.
And the fact that you were able to procure that is solid.
Hmm. And then I got some nice budget picks. Galarian Corsola, it's very passive, but it can still sort of set rocks, which my team needed another rock setter to sort of help free up Garchomp in some weeks. Um,
Yep.
I got Passimian. It's sort of just a mon that I like, and it was only 6 points. There wasn't a whole lot there, and also a ton of teams just had solid hazard options, so denying them a defiant user, pretty nice. And then Vanillux for Veil is really solid. It definitely has its weaks. Has a lot of weaks actually. And then Komala, it was only 3 points, so I had to snag it. I figured it's probably closer to a 5 point mon, so
Yeah.
seeing it in three, I just like knew I wanted to pick it up.
Yep.
But
Yeah. I really like the Persimmon because the thing is about fighting types, and this is a personal opinion,
mhm,
is that the fact that they have such high attack stats usually,
mhm,
even lower tier fighting types can provide such great value. So I would say like lower tier fighting types are more value picks than higher tier fighting types.
mhm,
Obviously, there are amazing higher tier fighting types like your Urshifu's, Drakions, etc. But the fact is, like something like Passimian, which is 6 points, but still has that 125 base attack stat, I
mhm.
feel is really nice. I mean, very very solid.
Yeah. But I can't say that there's a mon on this team that I'm not excited to use. They all just seem like really fun options to play with.
Hmm. Yep.
But without further ado, by process of elimination, you'd all know the number one team by now. But in case you don't, it's the Ascended Apoms, Fatty Jones. This team is really incredible. There's so much to like about it.
Oh, he picked up Miltecta. I forgot.
Yeah. Um, Zacian regular form is such a great mon. And then he also got just amazing partners for it. Mega Mence and Ho both great as well. But obviously that sort of restricted his points. But I really like what he did with his sort of lower points because he grabbed those three top tiers.
Yeah. The fact that Zacian normal can hold items is just really really nice.
Mhm.
Can and it can sword stance as well. So there's another option. It can run scarf. It can run bandit.
Mhm.
Even like your Zacian crown, it is still it's still relatively fast. It's 138 base speed. So
Mhm.
usually it can run no speed and get away with it a lot of weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah, Mega Mence was something I also wanted, but I went against it in the end because I wanted that high speed tier.
Mhm.
But he grabbed it, and I feel it just synergized incredibly well with what he was trying to build around.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that Firewater Grass Regenerator Core. I know
Mhm.
he saw me using Tangela in a week, and we fell in love with that budget. We call it the budget water grass core and like a slow king Tangela or like a Toxapex Tangela. So
Mhm.
yeah, he
Yeah.
got that.
It's just going to be a
Uh,
tough team to sort of wear down. Ho
yep.
Toxapex Tangela is just going to be a problem to break every week because they sort of all help each other for like their weaknesses, and then like you can run physically defensive Tangela, especially defensive Toxapex, and it works out.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I know. I faced that core once, and I had to resort to like trapping the Tangela with like an Azumarill using Whirlpool and Perisonging it down because I couldn't find a way to break that core
Mhm.
any other way. So that's just a testament to the power of that core, in my opinion. And he has some very nice low budget, like his lower tier mons are just as good.
Mhm.
Mudsdale is a great Pokemon. I've used it a lot. I picked up Mudsdale in my first ever draft season, and it was one of my kill leaders, just because it hits so hard and it's so tanky.
Mhm.
Like incredible Pokemon
Yeah,
for
it's.
anybody who hasn't
Mhm.
for anybody who hasn't used it, use it. Great Pokemon.
Mhm.
Great Pokemon.
I've always been looking at it, but I haven't actually found an opportunity to pick it up yet. But it just seems really solid. Obviously, the only
It
real main
is.
thing about it is that it gets worn down. But sort of next to those three walls that can help take some of the pressure off of it, it does well. And even Mega Men's potentially passing wishes could be something.
Yeah.
It's more gimmicky, but it can still do work.
I know Wish Past is a legit set. I think I've seen it used.
Hmm.
I think, but I'm not sure. And then Age of Slash, such a great mod. I've always wanted to use it.
Hmm.
I've never had a chance to, but
Yeah.
it being able to run anything, it can run defensive sets, offensive sets. Very good pickup, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah. Um, and then he's got some nice low tiers to round out the team. Rotom Frost, obviously Bolt Beam Stab is really solid, although it has to rely on Blizzard. It's really nice 70% of the time.
Yep, and it was 3 points as
Hmm.
well, so it was like in that nice budget
Hmm.
Komala slash Trevenant picks that were
Yeah.
done, in my opinion.
Hmm. He obviously picked up Miltank, which I think is a fantastic pick to pair with Mega Mence, which is weak to ice, and Aegislash weak to fire, just pretty much giving another resistance to those, as well as even Mudsdale weak to grass with Sap Sipper can do that as well.
Yep, yep, it's a great Pokemon.
Hmm. Great budget option, nice cheap rocks. Obviously, he has to rely on sort of cheap rocks on this team, but he figured out two great options with Mudsdale and Miltank.
Yeah, I mean Miltank carried me somewhat in the semifinal game last season,
Hmm.
so, and just being able to take hits, milk drink up, set up rocks, just be an annoyance of a mon is really nice. I
Yeah.
really, I rate Miltank very highly in my opinion.
Hmm. And then also, he picked up Hitmontop. Great budget option. I feel like it can do sort of a lot of things really well for very cheap. It can
Yeah, it
spin, and it now has triple axle with Technician to sort of hit flying types even better.
yeah, it's like an ice type we create with technician.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's incredibly strong now. And then lastly, Shedinja. I don't see it doing much. It's very gimmicky, but like I'm sure something will happen with it. It'll potentially come 1 week and do something.
yeah, probably like a meme game or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. But these are the power rankings based on really everyone's opinions that filled out the forum. Thank you a lot for that. But obviously, power rankings don't reflect actual battling skill for the coaches. So they like even these power rankings can probably won't be super indicative of how the season will go down. I feel like power rankings never are.
Yeah,
But
I would love to be proven wrong by some of the lower tier coaches.
mhm,
I love being proven wrong in power rankings.
yeah,
So
there's just a lot of competition this season. A lot of great mons. That's what I kind of like about this Uber's format is that there's a lot more stuff. It seems like very free with both points
yeah,
and Uber's just going to be a really fun league to play in.
yeah, I love Uber. I've fallen in love with Uber's leagues. I feel they're just so much more colorful than Natdex leagues. Because
Hmm.
Natdex leagues, you see the same point, same mons again and again. But Uber's league just mixes it up, and it allows you to use like overpowered stuff. Just click
Hmm.
buttons
Yeah,
with those fun high tier picks.
especially with the Super Ubers this season, even like more variants.
Yep, yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
But I'm just really excited to see how the season turns out. Thank you to Sir Kill
Yeah,
for joining me in this adventure, and
no, thank you very much. It was a huge pleasure. I really enjoy power rankings
yeah,
and being able to like lend my experience and just talk about mods in general.
hmm,
It was very fun. Thank you so much
yeah.
once again.
But if this season is anything like last season, it's gonna be a blast. So yeah. Until next time, Jesse 504 out.
Bye.
Peace.
Okay.